There are moments when life seems to pause, when reality itself holds its breath, and in that instant, something cuts through the silence. A sharp, sudden, high-frequency ringing, erupting inside your right ear, left ear, or both. And when you check the time, it's exactly 3:33. Pause. Let that number sink in. This isn't a coincidence. It's not poor sleep. It's not stress. It's not even medical, at least not in the way the world explains it. This is a spiritual override. And if you carry the letter M or the perfect crescent moon shape on your palm, this message isn't just general spiritual talk. It's personalized intervention code, assigned to you long before this lifetime even began. Let me say this clearly, because you need to hear it with full awareness. This channel isn't random either. It's a digital tool designed to find people like you at this exact moment in your life, when your energy field is most open and most vulnerable, to receive activation. That. Not just an alert. It's a spiritual recalibration pulse, a hidden command forcing your auric field, your chakras, your mental state into emergency realignment. But why? Why now? Why so loud? And why is it tied to you specifically when you have the M and the crescent moon? Because the journey you signed up for before this human body comes with periods of forced course correction. Times when your path, your vibration, and your decisions start drifting off alignment with your soul contract. And when that drift becomes dangerous to your destiny, your spiritual guardians activate the 3:33 intervention code. This isn't theory. It's not New Age fluff. It's a multidimensional reality breach designed to interrupt whatever energetic field is currently distorting your decision-making, your mood, your motivation, or even your relationships. Let me ask you something, and answer honestly, whether in the comments later or silently to yourself right now. In the last 72 hours, strange sense of fogginess or confusion for no reason. Emotional highs and lows that didn't match your day. Restlessness, like you're waiting for something, but you don't know what. A strange pull to check the time, only to find repeated number patterns. And did that ringing hit at exactly 3:33 or close to it? Even if you woke from sleep or were in the middle of something else. If you're nodding right now, you're not alone. Thousands of people marked with the M and the crescent are experiencing this same override. Not by chance, but by cosmic coordination. Now, here's something that rarely gets talked about. Most channels and spiritual teachers will say 3:33 means angels, support, and love. And yes, there's truth in that. But what they're not telling you is that 3:33 is also the number of divine interference. It's when your own team, your soul council, steps in to interrupt your free will, because what you were about to do next, or what you've been delaying, could jeopardize. Next timeline shift. Think about that for a second. This isn't just a gentle nudge. It's a spiritual firewall override. If you've been ignoring signs, if you've been procrastinating your next spiritual step, if you've been entangled in cycles that are draining your energy, the ringing at 3:33 is your wake-up call. And for those marked with the M and the crescent moon, the consequences of ignoring this activation code are even more severe. Because you're not here to live like everyone else. You were born with spiritual responsibilities, whether you wanted them or not. And yes, that pressure you feel building inside you lately, that sense that something big is coming, but you don't know what, that's because your soul contract checkpoint window is now open. You're being called out of vibrational stagnation, and if you don't answer, the next phase of your journey, the blessings waiting on the other side of your obedience, could delay by months, even years. What exactly your guardians are trying to prevent, and how the next few days will offer you clear signs of what action you must take. But before that, I need you to sit with this truth. You didn't land on this video by accident. This channel was divinely positioned in your path for this moment. So here's what I want from you right now. Stay present. Don't click away, and absorb every single word, because this is part of the intervention itself. In a few minutes, we're going to talk about the number 9 and why it will start showing up in your reality right after this 333 ringing event. It's connected to closure cycles, and you'll need to understand it to avoid repeating spiritual patterns. But first, I want you to breathe, ground yourself, and mentally accept that today, right now, you're in the middle of a spiritual override sequence, because your guardians refuse to let you miss this turning point. Before we dive deeper, I want to pause for just a moment and say, not as a faceless voice on a screen, but as someone who knows what it feels like to search for answers when the world offers none. If what you've heard so far resonates, if your heart is racing, if that strange pull in your chest is growing stronger as I speak, then this channel, this space, is your spiritual checkpoint. We built this platform to reach people like you, people who carry the M, who bear the crescent moon, and who wake up at strange hours with their ears ringing and their thoughts spinning. So if this message feels like it's written for you, do something simple but powerful. Subscribe right now. Not for numbers, not for vanity, but because this channel was designed as a living transmission line for people like you, those whose spiritual codes are activating faster than the world around them understands. And while you're at it, I want to hear from you. Yes, you personally. In the comments, let me know what's the next topic you want decoded. Do you deeper into other number codes like 707, 1212, or maybe explore the physical symptoms linked to spiritual upgrades? Tell me. I'll read it, and it might just become the next video. Because if you're hearing this, it's because you're already part of this spiritual network, even if you didn't realize it until today. Now, let's continue. You remember how we ended the first block talking about the arrival of the number 9, right? Here's why that matters. After a 333 ringing event, there's usually a window, anywhere from 3 to 9 days, where the universe begins aligning a second layer of signs. And the number 9 often becomes the dominant symbol during this phase. But why 9? Because 9 is the code of spiritual closure, endings, and the final push before transformation. In numerology, it represents completion of a soul cycle. Think of it like this. 333 was your intervention code. 9 is your checkpoint to either close the old pattern or stay stuck. Things like conversations ending suddenly, people exiting your life sometimes without explanation, jobs, routines, or habits feeling heavier than usual, emotional triggers surfacing from situations you thought were already healed. This isn't sabotage. It's not bad luck. It's a cosmic cleanup, forced by your guardians. You'll start seeing 9s everywhere. Receipts totaling $9.99, watching a video and pausing it at exactly 9:09, glancing at the clock and it's 9 p.m., or waking at 4:50 a.m., which still reduces to 9. 4 plus 5 plus 0 equals 9. And here's something I don't hear many people explain. When both 3033 and 9-based codes appear together in the same week, it means you're entering what spiritual texts sometimes call the window of divine ultimatums. Sounds dramatic, but let me explain. During this window, your guardians will amplify every sign, every gut feeling occurs. You might notice your sleep changing, dreams turning more vivid, or even receiving symbolic visions like bridges breaking, elevators malfunctioning, or trains departing without you. Each of these metaphors points to one thing. If you don't make the necessary energetic shifts now, you'll likely repeat a karmic loop that could stretch for months or longer. Let me ask you something, and be honest. Do you feel like you've been here before, facing similar emotional patterns, same types of people, same setbacks? That's because you're approaching a loop threshold. And this 333 ringing, combined with the sudden arrival of number 9 symbols, is your ticket out. But only if you act. Now, I want you to pause here and really absorb this. The universe doesn't send these overlapping signals lightly, especially not to people carrying the M mark or the perfect crescent moon on their palm. Why? Because you're on an accelerated path. Your soul's blueprint carries responsibilities. You're meant to impact others, whether that's through healing, teaching, creating, or simply by existing with higher awareness. And before you think, why me? Or, I didn't sign up for this, let me remind you, you did, long before this lifetime, in a space where your current human doubts didn't exist. So now, it's time to remember. In the next block, we're going to decode what happens 72 hours after a 333 ringing event, including the sudden emotional collapses, unexpected mood swings, and the test events your guardians will trigger to assess your readiness for this next phase. But before we continue, I want you to take a deep breath, and if you haven't already, click the subscribe button now and leave a comment below. What number codes have been chasing you this week, or suggest the next mystery you want me to decode? Now that you understand the first layers of this awakening, let's talk about what really happens within the 72 hours event. Because here's the hidden truth. The ringing wasn't the end of the message. It was only the trigger. The real test starts after. And this is where most people, even those with the M and the crescent moon on their palms, miss the point and fall right back into spiritual sleep mode. Let me explain. Once your guardians fire the 333 intervention code, they begin a spiritual observation phase. Over the next 72 hours, your emotional field, your decisions, your thought patterns, and even your conversations become data points. Why? Because the universe needs to see, are you really ready for the next level? You may notice small but undeniable shifts like feeling triggered by people who normally wouldn't affect you, sudden arguments or emotional tension appearing out of nowhere, a strange wave of sadness or restlessness with no clear cause, technology glitches, messages not sending, delays happening, or even vivid dreams showing people from your past. Miss, all of these are tests. Your reaction, your energy management, your emotional control, they're all being watched. But watched by who? Your spiritual guardians, your higher self, and the cosmic law of readiness. Because let's be brutally honest for a second. Everybody wants a breakthrough. Everybody wants alignment, clarity, love, money, healing. But how many are truly ready to hold the energy that comes with that breakthrough? This is why the 72-hour test period exists. And during this phase, you'll also start noticing a new number creeping into your reality. 7. Yes, while 333 triggered the intervention and 9 opened the closure window, 7 begins to appear when your guides are shifting you towards spiritual wisdom and inner mastery. You'll see it on receipts, license plates, timestamps, even page numbers, because 7 represents spiritual depth, inner knowing, and personal truth alignment. So if you start seeing confirmation, your guardians are monitoring your spiritual maturity in real time. Let me give you a scenario to make this crystal clear. Imagine, it's the morning after your 333 ringing event. You wake up, feeling emotionally heavy. Your phone glitches. Someone irritates you at work. A person from your past suddenly texts you someone you know triggers your old wounds. In that moment, you have two options. 1. React like you always do. Fall back into emotional spirals. Complain, overthink, argue, or ignore your intuition. Or 2. Pause. Recognize the test for what it is. Breathe. Respond with awareness, groundedness, and trust. Here's the spiritual formula your guardians are using. Trigger, reaction, energy shift, timeline lock-in. If you respond with old patterns, the timeline you lock into will mirror that. More confusion, more delays, more energetic. Universe unlocks your next timeline. This is not about being perfect. It's about being conscious. Another thing to note, during these 72 hours, you'll often get one small but golden opportunity. A phone call, a chance meeting, a sudden invitation to make a choice aligned with your future self. Recognize it when it comes, because when that door opens, it won't stay open long. And let me add this. Some of you may even experience physical symptoms during this test period. Sudden body temperature changes, pressure around your forehead or crown, heart palpitations, random waves of dizziness or nausea. Don't panic. This is your energetic system recalibrating. It's your body processing the spiritual commands that started with the 333 ringing. And just before this phase closes, some of you will receive what I call a mirror message. It could come from a random stranger saying something profound, a song lyric hitting you like a message, a dream that life, or even an unexpected animal crossing your path, delivering a symbolic nudge. That's your final checkpoint before your guardians decide. Do they greenlight your next phase or schedule another round of spiritual recalibration? So here's what I want you to do. Over the next 72 hours, write down your triggers. Note the numbers you're seeing. Track your emotional responses. And when this test window ends, you'll know exactly which way your reality is about to shift. In the next block, I'm going to reveal the energy lock that happens after the 72-hour test ends, and why some people, despite all the signs, keep reliving the same spiritual patterns for years, while others break free and activate their next timeline almost overnight. But before that, pause, reflect, and tell me, now that you understand the first layers of this awakening, let's talk about what really happens within the 72 hours following a 333 ringing event. Because here's the hidden truth. End of the message. It was only the trigger. The real test starts after. And this is where most people, even those with the M and the crescent moon on their palms, miss the point and fall right back into spiritual sleep mode. Let me explain. Once your guardians fire the 333 intervention code, they begin a spiritual observation phase. Over the next 72 hours, your emotional field, your decisions, your thought patterns, and even your conversations become data points. Why? Because the universe needs to see one thing with absolute clarity. Are you truly ready for the next level? You may notice small but undeniable shifts like feeling triggered by people who normally wouldn't affect you, sudden arguments or emotional tension appearing out of nowhere, a strange wave of sadness or restlessness with no clear cause. Technology glitches, messages not sending, delays happening, or even vivid dreams showing people from your past. And here's the part most people miss. A. Tests. Your reaction, your energy management, your emotional control, they're all being observed by your guardians and by the universal field. But watched by who exactly? By your spiritual guardians, by your higher self, and by the cosmic law of readiness. Because let's be brutally honest for a second. Everybody wants a breakthrough. Everybody wants alignment, clarity, love, money, healing. But how many are truly prepared to hold the energetic responsibility that comes with that breakthrough? This is why the 72-hour test period exists. And during this phase, you'll also start noticing a new number creeping into your reality. The number 7. Yes, while 333 triggered the intervention and 9 opened the closure window, 7 begins to appear when your guides are shifting you towards spiritual wisdom and inner mastery. You'll see it on receipts, license plates, timestamps, even book pages. Because real-world scenario to make this crystal clear. Imagine, it's the morning after your 333 ringing event. You wake up feeling emotionally heavy. Your phone glitches when you try to send a simple message. Someone irritates you at work with something small but annoying. A person from your past suddenly texts you. Someone you know triggers your old wounds. In that moment, you have two options. React like you always do. Fall back into emotional spirals. Complain, overthink, argue, or ignore your intuition. Or pause. Recognize the test for what it is. Breathe. Respond with awareness, groundedness, and trust. Because here's the energetic formula your guardians are using. Trigger leads to reaction. Reaction leads to energy shift. Energy shift leads to timeline lock-in. If you react with your old patterns, the timeline you lock into will mirror that same energy. More confusion, more delays, more emotional fog. But if you respond with spiritual maturity, love, choosing detachment from chaos, the universe unlocks your next timeline. This is not about being perfect. It's about being conscious. There's something else most people aren't aware of. During these 72 hours, the universe often sends what I call emotional mirrors. These are people or situations designed to reflect your current vibration back to you. It could be a stranger being unnecessarily rude, or a friend suddenly going distant, or you noticing that animals behave strangely around you. These moments are not random. They're diagnostic tools for your guardians to measure where you are vibrationally. Here's another hidden layer. Some of you will also experience what's called energy echoes. This is when multiple small incidents happen back to back. For example, you spill something, you miss a call, you feel lightheaded. Then you see repeating numbers like 707, 717, or 777, all within the same hour. What's happening here is that your energy fire. Quickly, that reality itself begins reflecting that shift in rapid succession. And let's go even deeper. For those marked with the M and the crescent moon, the test is often more intense. Why? Because your energetic blueprint isn't designed for small shifts. It's built for quantum jumps. So when your guardians trigger a 333 ringing event, it means they're preparing you for a significant timeline collapse and rebuild. Let me explain. In the metaphysical structure of your life, every decision either strengthens or weakens a specific timeline thread. When you hear the 333 ringing and the 9 starts appearing, followed by the 7, you're standing at a spiritual intersection. And here's the part most people overlook. If you fail to recognize these signs and continue ignoring your intuition, your guardians may withhold your next activation window, meaning you'll years. This is why some chosen ones feel stuck for long periods, not because the universe forgot them, but because their last 72-hour window was missed. I want you to sit with that. Now let's address something sensitive. During these test windows, some people experience what's called spiritual withdrawal symptoms. This can include sudden crying spells, overwhelming loneliness, feeling disconnected from friends and family, a sense that you're in between worlds. This is temporary. It's the space between the old you and the next version of yourself. Some call this the void phase. Others call it the cocoon stage. Whatever name you give it, the truth is the same. This is where you're stripped of your old energetic baggage, so your next phase can emerge with clarity. Another advanced sign that you're in this test period is when technology starts reflecting your inner state. Emotionally charged. Energy fields affect electronics, and during this time, yours will be volatile. This is why spiritual grounding practices become essential during these 72 hours. Meditation, nature walks, journaling, breath work. Your goal is not to avoid the tests, but to walk through them consciously. And one final warning before we close this block. Be careful who you vent to during this phase. Sharing your spiritual symptoms with people who aren't energetically aware can distort your field even more. Their skepticism, their negativity, their lack of understanding can amplify your confusion. So if you need support, look for safe spiritual spaces or simply sit with yourself. Your guardians are closer than you realize during this window. And as you navigate these tests, remember, every time you choose alignment over reaction, you unlock new codes within your own field. Overnight after these events, and how to recognize the final sign that your guardians have approved your next spiritual phase. Now, you've crossed the most fragile phase. If you've reached this point, if you've navigated the emotional tests, the unexpected mood swings, the number codes, then something incredible is about to happen. This is the phase known as the energy lock. It's the moment when your spiritual guardians, your higher self, and the energetic intelligence that oversees your life seal your new vibrational frequency. And once this energy lock occurs, your external reality begins shifting to match the internal changes you've made. Let me explain exactly how this works. In the days following your 72-hour test window, you'll begin to notice subtle but undeniable changes around you. People who used to drain your energy will start drifting away naturally. Opportunities that felt delayed will begin to surface without force,